Alright, so it's roof rack install day. So New Year's Day over here in the Northern Beaches. We're still in lockdown, so the rack came in, well, the rack's been in for a while out at ARB, but we've been waiting on the Y62 mounts, which has taken forever to come in. So went and picked all that stuff up yesterday, and hopefully, if the weather holds out, we'll be able to install the base rack up on to the Patrol. So that's the plan. We'll see how the weather holds out and see how things go. Alright, check back later. Alright, so that's the base rack component built. Got the blades. You can see the blades are on. They're just loose at the moment because I haven't fitted these bits on the roof yet because it's still a bit wet, and I don't really want to be out there with exposed holes in the roof trying to fit those brackets, because need a silicone around each of the holes as well. So just want to keep an eye on the weather and see how that goes, because you've got to have those mounts in and screwed into and torqued up into the roof, because you've got to get these measurements that are across here and here. Measure that distance and then replicate that distance on here and then torque it all up. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunity and fit my awning at the same time. There'll be a fair bit of head scratching going on about that because I've got the Rhino Rack Batwing awning. So one of the things that I've been conscious of is the ARB Baserack is a really low, slim profile rack, which is excellent because it looks cool. But the problem with that is, as you can see, when the rear door is up, there's a huge gap or a huge area that you've got to ensure that when the 270-degree awning comes out, that it's going to go over the top of that and not hit any of the rails on the awning. So that's what I'm going to be fiddling around with. I've got these mounts which I bought yesterday, so they're the ARB quick release mounts. So these are the, hopefully got a bit more height adjustability, and I can put them up a little bit higher just to clear that rear tailgate. So I'll be faffing around with that for about, oh god, give me a good 2 hours, I reckon. It's going to be a real fiddly job, and I reckon it's going to fight me every step of the way. Yeah, that's one of the issues with the 270-degree awning on the Y62. A lot of other racks out there clear it just, and they're a little bit taller than the base rack. So we'll just have to see how it goes. I may not be able to figure it out, but I'm gonna until it actually gets up there and on there. But I'm gonna put this in the highest setting that I can find in this configuration, and we'll go from there. So pretty easy so far. Just a matter of reading the instructions carefully, figuring out what's the front, what's the back, because that's not really well known until you get the wind deflector out, and the gap at the front here is actually for the wind deflector. So I thought the front was up there because, you know, just the way the roof line of the car drops off. Anyway, got that one wrong. Live and learn. Alright, so update. I've pulled the awning out of the box. Just going to go have a look. I've got to take some measurements now. That's the awning supplied by Rhino Rack to go on the back there. and these are the quick release awning mounts for our Baserack. So got to figure out how they work first, and then could do some measurements, see which is going to sit higher on the rack itself, and then we'll fiddle around with positioning, because that's going to be difficult. And there is a fair bit of weight in all of this stuff. Fair bit of weight actually, more than I expected. First failure and a lesson learnt. Don't buy Baserack mounts for a Rhino Rack awning. Currently the Baserack mounts only fit ARB awnings, so don't make the same mistake I did. And to be honest, I'm probably not going to get anywhere near the height that I need, because effectively this is just going to come up to, so nowhere near the height that I'm going to need to clear the rear tailgate. So that option is out. Left with the factory mount, and this is a massively chunky mount, but there's just no way to mount it to the Baserack without drilling. Drill through, drill a hole for this here, fitting through this rail here that goes along the side, which is less than ideal. Drilling into my brand new rack. Yeah, might have to go on one of the crossbars. But then it's sitting up on the weld, because the welds are just up a fraction on these. Park it and maybe do it later. Just get the rack on and then figure out the awning later on. Maybe ARB will develop some more awning brackets for Baserack. Righto, so I figured out that the only way to make it work with the Rhino Rack is I'm going to buy some T-slot adapters. So if I buy T-slot adapters that go on the side, the awning can come out there and sit about there, which would be fine, and that should work well. Problem with that is the height. I can't increase the height, so that's the big unknown at the moment. So can't do that. Not open today, so we're just going to crack on and do the roof mounts. Cleared up a little bit, but still crappy weather, but it's enough to get up there, pull all the old plugs out and re-silicon all around them, and install the roof mount. You're probably wondering why this is taking so long. So, a few weeks ago, well actually ever since we bought the car, we've noticed that it leaks water through the roof into some of the, particularly in the passenger side seatbelt area. So after a while we eventually got, well, the missus nagged me enough to do something about it. So the solution at the time, and I read online, was to pull all these stupid little plugs out that are here, and they're just rubbish plugs. They don't do a very good job of sealing, and they're supposed to be siliconed or have a rubber grommet around, and the rubber grommet is there but it does nothing. So the only way that I read online was to fix this was to silicone it. So did that. Now as a consequence it's like adhesive and it's got the plug stuck in the hole. So pain in the ass to get out, I tell you what. And working with screwdrivers really close to Nissan paint is suboptimal. I don't recommend it, but it has to be done. And hopefully, if I do this right, never have to get up here and have a look at this stuff again. So, haven't exposed any bare metal yet, but it is a bastard of a job, and I knew it would too. I knew it would fight me every step of the way. So that's why I'm doing it the hard way. Fashion, every project that I attempt just fights me, and the worst thing that could happen in this project is one of these bloody stems of these stupid plugs breaking off inside the thread, and yep, that just happened. So absolute pain in the ass to get out. So just have a look there. So this is what I've had to do. Just had to, the plug got stuck in there, so I've just finished drilling it out. Plug's out now, but I hopefully haven't damaged the thread in there too much. And interestingly, screwdriver, and watch. I've got no idea where that's going. It's not coming through the roof inside the car, so pretty happy with that. Alright, we'll finish this one off and crack on to the last one, and hopefully it doesn't fight me like all the others. More silicone, where we got us here in this first place. Terribly dodgy. Dodgy enough. Right, so bit of a rubber seal that's provided with the kit. Put that in place. and then the bracket, and put a bit of Loctite on these bolts, and they go. So you're supposed to torque them up to 22, whatever it is, Newton meters, pounds, I don't know, something. I have a torque wrench, but the minimum it can go to is 28, and that's for torquing up, you know, wheel nuts and bloody hitches on the caravan. Alright. I think that one's bitten, so we'll find out in a minute how much damage has been done to the thread, and where we go from there. I'm just Loctiting this just to you know, sort of set and forget. We've had roof racks in the past, the Rhino Rack, where the roof bolts have come loose, and that happened when we're way out. Well, we only noticed it when we pulled into Birdsville after doing the Udnadata. Oh no, the Strzelecki, sorry. Ooh, that doesn't feel good. Come on. Back on. Oh, this is really tight. I think I'm just getting down to the gunk at the bottom with the silicon. Just take it nice and slow. It's getting a bit easier, so I'm just punching through that silicon now. Yeah, beautiful. Coming along nice. £22, about that, that'll do. Like I bought one to go. Oh jeez, I went ballistic on this one. There's heaps of shit in there. Bit of clear coat coming off. So I'm up to about 4 hours now. Try and coax it out of there. Feel like Dr. Pimple Popper. I don't want to have to drill another one. That was a pain. Jesus. My fault. Totally my fault. I bloody put silicone stupidly in the hole and then put the bloody plug in. Try and get the pliers in there. Last one. This has been a nightmare project, I'll tell you what. It's almost worth paying someone to do this because it's just been painful. Right, last bit of silicone, bit of plastic, or a rubber seal. I'm finishing this one and then going to drink beers because had enough. Still Loctite. God help the poor bastard who has to get this out. These will be tight too because there's a fair bit of silicone in the hole, so just got to punch through that. Without forcing it too much. almost there. Looking forward to a beer or 6. It's about 22 pound. Done. That's enough for today. Alright, that'll do. Project fail. This is as far as I've got. I'll finish the rest of the rack off tomorrow. Got to make a couple of measurements tomorrow. There's a couple of key measurements that you've got to make for before you tighten everything up. So you've got to measure the distance between this one and the one over that side and the front two, and that's that should give you the distance for where to tighten up all the bolts and the rear blades on the bar. I mean on the rack. So hopefully the front ones are sweet, because the wind deflector should be perfectly lined for those ones. So we'll get back to it tomorrow. We'll crack into it. Been a work day. Hopefully ARB will be open. I'll be able to get some T-slot adapters. So I figured it out. I'm going to use some T-slot adapters along the edge here, and use the big bracket, and we'll go like that with a T-slot adapter. Now that's going to be a bit of a pain in terms of height, like I mentioned before. Just won't know if it's going to clear the bloody tailgate until we set it up for the first time. Anyway, now it's time for one of these. And worry about the rest of it tomorrow. Hopefully the rain will stay away, and I'll be able to get a couple of big burly blokes with guns ridiculous to give me a lift up, because shit, the bloody bar weight, the roof rack weighs about 30 kilos at the moment. I went with this one because they said it was light, and it is. The rack itself is light. The rack itself is only 22 kilos. That's why I picked it. But if you include the blades, the mounting blades, so these bits here that run full length, they are, and the wind deflector, you know, that adds another 10 kilos, so up around 30 kilos. So that takes a bit of payload off me, which I wasn't factoring in, because you can only have 100 kilos on the roof, so 30 of that now is roof rack. And then 22 kilos for the Rhino Rack Batwing, so that's why I picked that one, because that was nice and light. So straight away I can only put 50 kilos up there, and this up here is going on the roof, because that's what we utilise when we go camping away from the caravan. And the kayak over there, and big pile of Max Tracks over there as well. Anyway, we'll figure all that out. Fun project, but bloody exhausting. Like all my projects, they fought me every step of the way. But here's what it is. It beats paying, you know, 140 bucks an hour labour for someone else to do it. Although, you know, that's money well spent sometimes. You don't have to deal with this level of frustration. Anyway, all fun. Alright, a bit of an update on the roof rack install. As you can Otherwise I'll show you. The awning's back in the box. I can't put the awning onto the base rack with these brackets, not without a couple of key pieces. So I need T-slot adapters from ARB for the platform rack, base rack, and they're not open today. So, bit of a bummer, can't complete the project, and then still there's that height clearance issue which I'm conscious of, so we're just going to go ahead and try and attempt to put the roof rack on. Weighs a hell of a lot, so probably going to need a couple of hands. Righto. That's what she looks like. Really difficult getting it up there. Looks really good. So now go for a bit of a test drive, see how the noise is. Righto, so here we are on a test drive. Base, the wind deflector is very close to the sunroof, so I don't know if I'll be able to tilt the sunroof anymore. So far all good. Usually want to get up to about 80 k's, so can't hear much at the moment, and you know, we're only cruising around 60. So we'll get up to about 80 k's here and be able to see if there's any significant noise. Unbearable with the bloody sunroof open now. Oh man, that is terrible. I'm just going to close that. Close that. I'm actually barely noticing it. It's really, really good. But there goes ever having the sunroof open again above 60 k's an hour. It is unbearable. And it's terrible. You probably won't be able to pick it up on the audio, but oh geez, it was unbearable. But you know, I always knew the use of the sunroof would diminish significantly once we put the rack on, because it covers so much of it, and then you know, you put stuff on top. There's no point even having a sunroof to let any sun in because it can't get in. So that's fine. That's no dramas. If you're in a Series 5 Ti, all good, no dramas. You don't even have a sunroof. So for everybody else, Series 4 and below, it's only a problem for us. and I'm not gonna tilt the sunroof because until I read online that someone else has done it with Baserack, I ain't doing it. I'm not going to be the test mule. I don't want to shatter my bloody sunroof just to see if it can still tilt or not. I'll take someone else's word for it. Alright, good test, good little project. Check back. Alright, welcome back. Here we go, day, God knows what we're up to now anyway. So I've been down to ARB, got some T-slot adapters to attempt to mount the awning today. So that's today's project, mounting the awning, and so that's what I'm going to be working on. So I've found out that pretty much the only way to do it, and I already know that I'm not going to get the height clearance that I need, is to mount the bracket, use a T-slot adapter through this hole and drill into the platform through this hole with a bolt like that. I'm going to use that sort of bolt and go into this, which I'll slide into the base rack, because there's a good slot on the edge of the base rack that you can run all your cabling and you know, cabling for lighting, power for anything that's on your roof rack, etc. So this fits perfectly into the slot, so I just slide that along, line it up with the hole. So that's the plan today. I know already that I'm not going to have the clearance that I need for the tailgate, but I'm just going to have to park that problem and solve that at a later stage, and I don't know how yet. Hopefully Rhinorack can develop a awning bracket with a bit more height clearance, and I'll jump on that option straight away if that ever happens. Otherwise, let's crack on. Just quickly show you here, just because some of these bolts, they don't go through the hole, so you just got to file a bit of the powder coat off from the inside of this hole. ARB T-slot adapter there, got a bracket in there, so I'm just going to marry them up. There we go. So the next part of the plan is to drill through the platform into this channel that you can see running along here, and that'll fit that slot adapter perfectly. That's all complete. Pretty easy job, pretty easy install. But I haven't drilled the holes yet, so looks good. I'm going to go down the road now and test that out and see how much this clearance issue is going to affect us. So that's what it looks like. So we're just down here at the park, all ready to set her up for the first time. So we'll just see how it goes. Actually looks really good up there. Really happy with the way it looks. Really happy with how tight it is to the rack. Really looks schmicko. Alright, we'll set this up and see how much we're going to hit. pretty easy, to be honest. I just forgot to mount the tensioner on the other side, so I just had to find a quick S-binder and solve that problem nice and easy. Now, big test. Well, the tailgate open. This actually looks like a fair bit of clearance, so I'm pretty optimistic, to be honest. But let's give it a go. Oh, righto. Okay. So we got a little bit of hitting just on this arm here. Quite a lot, actually. Yeah, quite a lot. You can see the legs off the ground now, so that's how much it's actually hitting. But it's not hitting this back bar here, it's only hitting this cross member. It is what it is, to be honest. If it wasn't for this bar, it'd be perfect. As you can see, and take the pressure off, you got a bit of clearance there. When they release the tailgate, up she goes. And it's not a great deal of pressure on this mount here, on this bar. This one, the cross one that goes all the way over to the other side, that's not impacted at all. That's the one I was worried about. So I could actually bring the awning out a little bit further. Bring it back a bit, I think, maybe. And then, it's not gonna solve this bar's problem, but yeah, can still walk in underneath. Can still walk in under the tailgate. Can still put the awning out. That leg can go all the way down and be pegged. So I think for initial install and to get us through to whenever they develop a new mount for the awning, it'll do. Just a bit of a wrap up video now. Just you can see what I've done here. Put in a bolt through the platform into this big nice long slot that runs the full length of the rack, and I had a couple of these lying around and I just slid that piece into the slot, lined it up, bolt it, job done. Did have to drill, but oh well, it is what it is. T-slot adapter there, and just the little slot that goes in the T-slot adapter, and the bolt provided with the Rhino Rack awning. And that is it. Job done. Thanks for watching.